Welcome to the Safing live stream.
Welcome.
Sorry for the botched start. It was just like we were ready, and Daniel, right at the moment when I wanted to hit start, was like, "Oh, just wait a second." And I'm like, "We have been sitting here for 2 minutes, almost discussing what we're gonna talk about." So now we know what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna quickly mention stuff regarding the Open Collective, which we just started, and how we think about it, how we think about the differences between donations to Portmaster and customers of Safing. We will also talk about some features which we started projects in Open Collective and how we think about those. And then we will talk about the upcoming beta of Portmaster. Like, there is a current beta already, but this is a minor release which will go into stable starting next week, just because there can always be stuff and we don't release on Fridays. And so this will be Monday, and then we go into the thing we tackle next and what you can get excited about in the upcoming week. And there's also some questions and support we would like from our community, because it will be sort of like a community-driven update with stuff for the community and potential like huge games, I guess, for the community. Good. Let's get into it. With what would you want to start?
So the biggest question, of course, that I just feel lingering in the air is, as a company, why exactly are we accepting donations?
Great question. I guess the main answer is, and I feel like Mike already talked to us on Discord, so I guess he is watching. People like Mike already said they would love to donate to us and to help support Safing more. And I guess with the latest beta and what will go into stable on Monday, there is a news section to the top right in the dashboard where we now publicly tell everybody, well, Safing is not 100% funded yet by our customers. Actually, it's not. It's bare like it's more than half, but we're not even on 2/3. So it's 62% calculating our costs and what we earned throughout the last quarter, and
last 3 months.
Last 3 months. It's not the quarter, but it says so in the blog post, which we'll link to from there. So we would like to sort of like get this up, and we understand that some people are like don't want to purchase a product but would like to support, maybe because, and I understand this completely, they want to show the intent and say, well, this is not a purchase of your product, this is a support of the vision behind it. And so I personally understand this completely. There is a difference in when I help somebody, I want them to know that this is help and that this is not a transaction. What I want in return is gratitude, not stuff. So I guess this is the main thing. And actually, just so to clarify this is not a donation towards Safing. It is a donation towards Portmaster. I called the project on Open Collective Safing Portmaster so that it is clear what Portmaster it is, but it is actually a separate entity. It's not the Safing ICS Technologies GmbH. It is operated by the Open Collective Europe Foundation. It's a non-profit. So all the donations are also tax deductible in the US. I today learned that tax deducting donations is more tricky in different European countries. You need to look into it if you're from the EU, if this is tax deductible or not. But for people in the US, it is. And but still it is a euro amount. So you donate in euros, you will see on your invoice, you get an invoice, you see how much it is. And
so this is, as you said, it's separate. It's a different legal entity. So that's actually a Belgian non-profit that actually holds the funds. And we don't have kind of direct access to them. So how it works is that we or anyone kind of requests funding from that pot, and then we have to accept that, and then also they check that if that's okay. So if there's kind of obvious malice going on, they actually will stop the payout. So they're very transparent on that. And I like a lot how they do this and how they have that. And so there are many options that we can do with that. And the main thing is here, this is not just kind of money that flows kind of into kind of financing the company. It's about getting Portmaster forward. And pushing Portmaster forward. So and that's why there are also projects there.
Exactly. So maybe just to quickly add there. So they have rules about how the money is spent. You already said that. This is just to make sure that also the money is kept in the open source world as well, like for us. So as you said, like there are projects, and all the projects, everything that would be funded through it will end up in the free Portmaster version. So the goals currently there are the projects are the port scan detection, which is something, and we were looking for projects which are smaller. I wanted to put bigger stuff in there. For instance, like a flat hub version of Portmaster is in there, but that would be bigger, like from a monetary perspective, because a lot more work would be required to get that over the finish line and stuff. But it's port scan detection, it's the flat hub, flat pack thing, and then the third one is the HTTPS
domain detection.
Exactly. So
which improves kind of attributing of like connections and domains.
Which is very technical, but we wanted to sort of like have the first three things on there where you cannot just donate towards like Portmaster in general, but also into a specific, no, Mike, that's not the correct one. It's safing minus Portmaster. You can find the link to the domain, but thanks for sharing the link. You can find the link in the blog post. The one that you found is the organization that is safing, ICS Technologies GmbH. The other one is the open source one, where we are not in like full control over the funds, but it is non-profit and it is clearly labeled. And it's like not full control. This sounds scary. Open Collective is a big platform, and it is like people know it and people trust it. Privacy Guides is on there. Manjaro is on there, which is also part of the Open Collective Europe family, which we're now a part of as well. So there are many like open source projects and companies on there. We feel it's very reputable, and the track record is great and stuff like that, which is why we chose it as well. So and yes, so the main thing which I liked was with the projects you can vote with your dollars. What part of Portmaster you would like to develop next. We understand, and this is part of the reason why what I teased with like big amounts. I asked Daniel for how much money we would start working on NixOS, for instance, or like Fedora Silverblue, and we were like, we have no idea how much time this would cost. Like 10K would be the minimum amount we would put on this, and then he's like, but that's so much. People like. Would be scared of.
It would be discouraging.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh, wait, it's gonna take forever to get there, and we don't want to communicate that.
Yes, exactly.
The goal should be reachable. And
which is also why Flatpak is something where we are like the first goal is with a specification for 5K. Of course, it will be a multi-step process, but we also see Flatpak as more accessible for more situations. Like if you own a Steam Deck, Flatpak is an option, you know?
Yes, but that would be really interesting to see how like Portmaster would fare on SteamOS on Steam Deck.
It's not ARM.
Well, still, but it's kind of a very purpose-built hardware.
Sure. Sure.
Would be interesting just what it looks like and what happens.
I'm so interested as well. I'd love to get a Steam Deck to work on this, you know?
I see. To work on this. I see.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
No. I recently
Not so sure about that.
I recently switched my main OS like for my personal machine to Nobara, and I love it. Nobara Linux. If you're like fed up with Windows, Nobara I guess is my new recommendation for you.
Yeah, because you love Fedora.
Fedora is great.
Yeah, and Fedora based. So for everyone who hates Fedora.
No, they have a lot of cool tools also for
all the like Debian and Ubuntu folks, like I feel Pop! OS is very popular in that kind of user group.
Sure. Okay, so Flatpak is one of the projects. So if you're interested, take a look. We will put the link in the show notes. Also, there's a blog post on our website, safing.io. If you scroll down, it's a journey update. There we also disclose the 62%, which we just said. There is a link in the Portmaster UI starting next week in the stable, which links you to that blog post as well. There's also a link now to the live stream. So for everybody to see, because so many people have Portmaster installed, which are not on the Discord, which maybe don't follow us on Twitter/X or Mastodon or something. So how would they know? Like the first email newsletter where I mentioned the live stream went out 2 weeks ago, last week, or something like that, you know? So this is everybody who's here, everybody who already interacted with us came here through means I have no idea. Still.
Probably website.
Probably. Like no, we don't
Discord.
link to it from the website either. No, we only link to YouTube, and then from YouTube.
Well, yeah.
I guess most of you are on Discord as well, which helps that we have the Discord link below as well. And if you're only watching this on YouTube, which happened in the past, check out the Discord link. Mike is interacting with us right now via Discord, not via YouTube, which is absolutely fine and we love it. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is Open Collective. We also have GitHub sponsors, just so you know, in the thing. There's both available, but GitHub sponsors actually goes to Safing ISS Technologies GmbH, like the thing behind Portmaster directly. I cannot tell you what I like more, but I guess the donation via Open Collective is, because it's tax deductible, it's probably the better route for most people.
Yeah, and just looking at that as a donation, it just makes more sense to handle it that way.
Yeah, sure.
Just to take the extra steps to be transparent about it, like what is happening with this money, because that it's not a transaction, it's kind of a support.
Yeah.
And what you receive in return for support is information on how that is used.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think that's actually a great way to do that.
That's true. That's true. But it is an option, and you, of course, then people see on GitHub that you support this project. And if you want that, then that's an option. If you don't want to see anything, I think there's an option to support us via Open Collective without showing up in the bottom row thingamajig. So that's great. You want to continue with...
Does Open Collective accept Bitcoin or something like that?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so it's credit cards, probably.
Credit card, PayPal, and bank wire transfer. Mm-hmm. There are different rates for those. I think we have to pay for them. So, but it's like, you will see. You can look at it.
Okay, yeah.
What they accept. They don't accept crypto, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I thought about maybe talking with them about it and telling them that they should accept Monero at least.
Yeah, I think it's just, especially Monero is probably too niche for them. But Bitcoin is kind of a lot more well known.
That's true, but Monero is easier to transfer. Like I think that the wallet system, there are more wallets which are easier to use with Monero, I think, than with Bitcoin.
It really depends on, like, with Bitcoin what you use. I do think that a lot of people use hot wallets. Like there are some over online and they're probably really easy to use.
Okay, but it's expensive as well.
Yeah, sure.
To transfer and stuff. I'm just more reluctant to do stuff with Bitcoin than I'm with Monero. Monero just moves around so fast, and it's great. Love it. So if you're looking into getting into crypto, try Monero. It's easy, it's fast, it's cheap.
It's private.
It's private. That's true as well. Okay. You want to talk about the current beta and stuff?
Sure.
Is it more than
Should we first, you want to go through the Open Collective projects in more detail? Because I think we just kind of mentioned them in passing by.
Okay.
Is that something that is worth kind of taking a couple minutes to just give that a little more space?
That
I don't know. It's a question.
It's a good question.
I just noticed that we just kind of just mentioned them primarily and didn't kind of actually explain them. But if you think you're explained well enough anyway.
No. Let's go that route.
Okay.
I will quickly post if we already go into that deeply. I will quickly post the link in the chat and in Discord. If you open it, you can scroll down, and with projects, it tells you about the 3 projects. Go into detail. Which one do you want to? Do you want to talk more about the port scan detection?
Yeah, let's just go through all of them real quick and kind of get a little bit more information on them. So one of the products is port scan detection, which means that with that, Portmaster will be able to kind of look at traffic, either primarily, of course, coming in from the outside. Detecting if there's someone on the network you are on that is trying to collect information about your device. And that's usually done by port scans, which means sending TCP or UDP packets with different ports to check if there's any software listening on there. And of course, Portmaster blocks incoming connections by default, but of course you just might have some service running on your device or something that is listening where you allowed that. And in order to protect you from these attacks, Portmaster will then recognize if the device is actually not just connecting, but actually trying to look for a hole in your defenses, and will start blocking the whole device, no matter what, in both directions, in order to, even if kind of something is or has happened there, that really every communication between your device and that device is blocked. So there's there's the extra layer of security there. And actually, I helped someone out from our team who had Portmaster in their kind of apartment complex, and actually, I once saw this happening, that he was being scanned from someone else in this apartment complex. Of course, he has no idea who this was, and of course, it doesn't have to mean that this other device actually belongs to the hacker. It could actually but just be that this device is hacked itself, and is then kind of doing something called network traversal or horizontal traversal, kind of expanding into the network. I think the most common term is lateral movement. It's what the kind of security people call that.
So what the feature would do, to quickly run back,
is detect if someone is trying to attack your device on a network and block that device completely. So that's what it does.
Detect and alert you as well of something like that.
Yeah, it will block it and alert you, and if it's actually a false positive, you can be like, oh no, everything's okay, unblock. Yeah, so
I trust that device, so it will only allow it for that device.
Yeah, for that instance. So if you put a restart Portmaster, it will probably forget that.
Will that make it easier for you to allow a printer on your network as well?
No.
Okay, because it's not doing port scanning.
No,
it is broadcasting, but it's not port scanning.
The printer isn't port scanning. It's just broadcasting data, and it's kind of always the same port. So that's obviously just someone communicating and not scanning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it also shows up in like the reason why I asked was because it's also in the network noise section. And of course, if somebody would do port scanning right now, it would be blocked.
Yeah.
But you would not be alerted, and you would have to go into the network noise.
Yeah, the network noise section would show like hundreds of like incoming connections.
Yeah.
On different local ports.
Yeah.
So
that's how you would manually look for it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what this feature would do, which you can donate towards, is do the port scan detect, like do the detection for you, alert you, and then fix it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Automatically.
This is the idea, and this is something that we have been looking into for quite some time now, and we feel like letting you know.
Yeah.
And if you feel that there's value for you in that, you can now tell us through Open Collective directly as well.
So yeah. So that's one of the projects. The next one would be the HTTP or HTTPS domain attribution. So as you know right now, how Portmaster finds out which domain a connection is connecting to is by looking at historical, like from the previous 10 plus minutes, DNS queries, be like, oh, wait a second, this application asked for this domain, it resolved that IP address, this is that IP address, so it must be that domain. And of course, there can be issues there, because if there are like many domains resolving to the same IP address, then of course it could be slightly wrong, especially for like really big hosts. That could be an issue. But so what we can do here is we actually not only look at the packet headers, we actually read the full packet and try to do like analyze the packet itself. Like some vendors call this deep packet inspection. Privacy folks normally don't like that because some vendors associate that also with breaking encryption.
Yes, yeah.
We don't do that. So we're just looking at the data that's there. We're not gonna mangle with packets. We're not gonna break anything. No worries there. So we're just gonna look at if there's information in that packet to see, okay, can we tell either from the HTTP header or can we tell from a field called server name indicator in the encryption where that connection is going to, and then improve our attribution in that regard.
Even further.
Even further. Be aware that more and more traffic is being encrypted on the web. So we're not 100% at all. I think we're like 90% ish. I don't have current data on that. Would have to look it up. There, so most of it is encrypted with TLS 1.2 by now. There's an important change with TLS. So TLS is the S in HTTPS. That's TLS. That's the encryption layer that HTTP uses. And with version 1.3, which is slowly rolling out, there is an option that it doesn't mean it's active all the time, but there is an option to encrypt that sort of data. So that again would kind of render that feature useless. But there's still enough traffic using TLS 1.2 for the time being. It does make sense to add that. Probably it doesn't make sense anymore in 5 years, but now definitely.
And we can look, of course, into a new situation in 5 years.
There's definitely benefit right now for that. So that would improve like the attribution of connections to the domain name, where that connection is going. And the third one is Flatpak. I think that's the one that you mentioned.
Yeah, the most.
A bit more extensively until now. So
I see that there are people who want that.
Definitely. So
port scan detection and the domain name detection is something that people have not been necessarily asking. We feel like, especially the port scan detection, I feel like a lot of people understand and would want. The domain name detection, maybe some network people would like that. So that would be interesting in that regard. That's partly why we threw it in there. But I think Flatpak is the one that the most people like. That's where I would expect the most people who are like, yes, we want that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. So,
and as I said, like or no, you go into that. But if you open it up, I think in big letters it says, we do not know if this works, if this will work.
And that's the thing with Flatpak.
Yeah.
Flatpak is a solution to containerize applications to A, make them more secure, and B, make them portable. So kind of borrowing from all the Docker hype, and be like, oh, like run everywhere. Like there's no works on my machine anymore because it's kind of the same everywhere, which is pretty cool, but it's kind of the opposite of what Portmaster is, where Portmaster is a system service that has multiple components on the system side, on the user side. So there's a system service, there's a user service, which is the icon, and then there's a user application. So there are three software components that make up Portmaster. So that's one challenge, and of course the other is that Portmaster system service needs not all, but needs a lot of permissions to be able to do its stuff. And so it's unclear how we can do this, and if at all. And also, I'm like, how do we distribute that then? Because just having a Flatpak on a website is not really better than just having our payment dev files.
It is, because it would run on different systems.
Well, that's the other thing. With the other update system we have, we might need to make changes to how things work, and we don't know if is Flatpak integrated differently in different systems. So, for example, you have things like Fedora. They place a bit more emphasis on security. They have SA Linux active by default. How does SA Linux interact with the Flatpak thing? Like, there are things that we have to check there, and so like a lot of questions there. And also, like, if we want to distribute via FlatHub, do they have kind of requirements on us like doing their package? Because, for example, distributions have quite some requirements for packages. So they, for example, might want to like build everything from source, but not with the dependency versions that we want to use, but with the dependency versions that they have in their repos. Like, that's gonna be not fun.
A lot of work. What it means is it's a lot of work for every distro. It would be a lot of, and we don't know how much work it would be to be compliant with FlatHub, which is, I guess, the end goal for it. And so we want to sort of like stage this, and the first stage for this would be to go into a specification to answer a couple of the questions we already know that we have, and find out new questions that we did not know we had. So this is part of this. Also, of course, like, because it is on Open Collective, we could, like, if you are working on this, or if you want to work on this budget is not safing. It is Open Collective, and it's for Portmaster. So if you want to work on this, you can reach out, and we can pay the contributor, whoever it is, who is doing this implementation. Of course, Safing will check it, and before we release it officially as a Safing thing, we will we will reintegrate it into Safing afterwards. But like, if you as an open source developer are interested in looking into this and have more experience with Flatpak, reach out. And it just because it's open source, we know everybody has to pay their bills. We don't expect free labor. So just reach out. And if you see there are amount of money in the budget for this, some of it can go to you, of course. Like, not all of it. We have work as well.
But
it's
have
like
to review it, test it,
absolutely,
and just maintain it.
But just so that everybody knows, we don't see it. It's not part of our budget. It's part of Portmaster's budget, and this is sort of like how we think about it and how we want to approach it. And if you're interested, reach out, and if you see value in this and want to see this done ASAP, contribute to it directly.
Yeah. So the first step is just to try to answer all the questions before putting work into it.
Yes.
So we know that we're not like wasting time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the first goal there, and when we reach that, we will start working on that, and then we'll probably talk about the results anyway in the live stream, and then we can see how we can move forward from there and maybe adapt the goals or kind of we'll see at that point. Yeah,
absolutely. But as you already said as well, the next step is not that. So let's move away. Quickly, I wanted to give a shout out. Mike already said so in like a couple of minutes back, but that he already supports us. Thank you. You have been the first donation on the Saving Portmaster Open Collective. So thank you, Mike. And let's move on to the upcoming beta and the new community part of it, which we're thinking of, which I teased already.
Yes.
You want to share it? Get us into the topic.
That's one of these situations where I'm not exactly sure which part you're talking about.
Okay, no, I'm talking about on Monday we will release the current beta to stable, and then we will update a new beta with features which have already been developed. So we are very sure that
probably Monday.
Probably
not
Monday.
100%.
Okay.
Probably Monday.
Okay.
But yeah, so
I've seen parts of it already, like for the last weeks. So share away.
Okay. On Monday, hopefully, but we're not far off. We'll release the first iteration of import-export to beta, which means you can then export settings, either global settings or app settings, from there, and then import them back into another app or share them on Discord, on GitHub, wherever with others. And so that's really cool. You can kind of also kind of create backups if you're like, this is great settings, work for me. You can just kind of copy them over and import them even on another device, or just keep them as a backup. And also, like, if you're helping someone, if like you have a friend that uses Portmaster, and you're like, this application doesn't work, and you're like, I'll just send you my configuration, export it, send it over, import, and great, everything should be working then. So yeah, that's a pretty exciting update, and we're looking forward to see what you're gonna do with it, and how that will impact your Portmaster experience. And
absolutely. You wanna additionally share the idea which we have with the GitHub?
Yeah. So with that, one idea we have is we don't want to wait until like something happens by chance. We're like, this is a great opportunity. We want to foster a community around this, and we're going to be creating a space on GitHub, a repo, either maybe add it to some repo or create a new repo where we can start sharing configuration for applications. So you can share how you've configured your game, how you've configured Steam, for example. So if you've created a profile for Steam that works well for Steam and most games you have, then you can kind of create that. Or kind of if you found a great configuration for this app or app collection, or like I use like the whole Adobe suite daily, and I created an amazing profile that includes all the Adobe parts and kind of blocks the nasty stuff, but everything still works. You can share that there. Then others can go through that, just copy paste that into their Portmaster imported, and use that. So that's something we're kind of thinking about, preparing for. So right now with Monday, you'll be able to just import export settings. Next step will be to export and import whole profiles, so including their name, description that you want to give, also the fingerprints, so how applications are matched. So that's not yet Monday, but that will be soon after. So kind of going step by step forward, and also please give us feedback on all this so we can iterate on it and improve. And of course fix bugs if there are any.
So the idea, you moved from one thing to the other a bit.
Yeah.
The idea with the GitHub to quickly get everybody on board is, if like we want to have something a little bit akin to what Privacy Guides is doing or Privacy Tools has been doing in the past, where they are like for applications have different open pull requests, and you can sort of like iterate on it, and that we will load probably on GitHub directly with a GitHub discussion situation stuff. Maybe this will be on the Discord. We want to hear from you what you think, but having it centralized on GitHub, I think, is an interesting idea. And getting the best profiles for everything. You already said about bundles, but if it's only one application, if it's only Microsoft Word, if you have a very cool profile that's getting rid of all the Bing stuff, especially now with Bing chat being integrated everywhere and so on, this is what we're looking for creating. This is what we're interested in, and also have the community sort of like be more in charge of that as well, and working through that stuff. So if you're interested in moderating something like that, also reach out and let us know. But this is sort of like the direction we think this can go. This is something where a lot of value can be shared, and like people who are now blocking everything because they don't understand. With that, they can regain more accessibility to get their stuff working again. And if it's the other way around, if you let everything through because you don't care or you don't want to configure it too much, the filter lists are already a great start, but you can do more, and this will be the solution for you. Also, get to know cool people. So this is the direction we are aiming for with that, and this will be the first step. As you said, like not all settings are included right now. Not everything about the profile is included right now, but we will work towards it and make stuff more accessible and improve upon all of that. And to maybe at this, you brushed over this as well, automatic export and synchronization.
So
this will just as a quick clarification.
So when we're done with kind of import export settings and import export profiles, so if everything works manually, the next step will to automate that. And that will be a feature that's available in the Pro Manager Plus and Pro plans, where you will be able to just go in settings, select the directory on your PC, and have Port Master automatically sync everything with that directory. And of course, you can sync that with your favorite file storage provider and to other devices, and then set it up there too. And so if you change a setting on one of your devices, it will automatically sync and go through on the other devices. And also, in order to make this easier and better for people using Windows and Linux, you'll be able to, because then this will start mixing, and suddenly you'll start also seeing the Windows apps on your Linux port master because they've been synced over. But what you can do then is you can go like, oh, this is my Windows Firefox and my Linux Firefox. You just select them and go merge, and it'll merge these together, so you have one profile that will match Firefox on Windows and Linux together. So you know, if you change the setting on one of them, it'll work on the other two.
That's for the automatic propagation, but also like the merge stuff is available for everybody. We got a lot of requests from people who are like, oh, I have so many apps everywhere, and they're like, some of them are old, merging stuff together, if it's the same app and you installed it multiple times, now it works as well, of course. So this is not a plus feature. Merging is something that you can do.
Merging will be for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's just that the automatic part of all that's the plus feature.
Yeah. And recently I think Innovative Dev told somebody if you have an app that's recreating new folders every time, first off, let us know. We already have stuff like that fixed in the past, where we know that stuff like that happens. But now you can merge them all together and then change the identification to just be the first part of the folder, or do a regex thing. Of course, regex is a little bit more complicated, but I think we make it fairly easy to change that, and then it won't start recreating new profiles for everything.
Maybe we can even
We'll see. Make this smart? Sure.
Yeah, kind of.
I see your gears turning.
Yeah,
we don't need to tease anything.
If there's an obvious pattern in all the fingerprints, like suggest an improved pattern on that. Maybe that'd be a cool thing too. Yeah.
I know. With suggesting, we already have a couple of ideas, also for other settings and rules and so on. You'll see. There's not an open collective section for all of that yet, but who knows? Maybe something will appear in the future.
That's a pretty cool thing, though. For
smart suggestions. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. You see, I guess everybody, and this is the reason why we do the live stream as well, is sees that we have so many ideas and so many things we want to work on, and we would love to work on everything at the same time. We can't, and so we try to focus on stuff. We try to prioritize.
Yeah. And we'd love to have a lot more people to work on many cool things faster.
That's true as well.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We will get there. Exactly. Slowly but surely. Great. I guess this has been the main topics for today. I don't the last couple of times we always went a little bit over. I don't think that if we do a little bit shorter one today, that's too bad. If anybody has questions for us today, please ask them.
That would be a great point, because I think the last couple of times we had quite a lot of questions.
Yeah, it was mostly Q&A. So
So I'm pretty surprised that today
is slower.
But
everybody,
that's okay.
Everybody going out preparing for Halloween and stuff. Maybe it's an interesting. So while we wait on a couple of questions before I wrap up, speaking of sharing how we feel about stuff, we on Discord already announced that we're doing a Black Friday stuff event this year. That we thought about what do we want to share, and what value can we bring to our customers. We don't want to make it an event where we wanted to bring new people in necessarily, but we wanted to add value to the people who are already supporting us, because you're the reason why we can do what we do. And so what we wanted to do, or what we are doing, is everybody who is a Portmaster Pro yearly subscriber, so €100 per year, will get 2 gift card codes to the associated email address, because this is the only way how we can share it, of Portmaster Pro for 2 weeks each. The idea is to send those codes out in the week before Black Friday, so that you can gift those codes to 2 other people who will be doing online shopping during that time. So that they are private during that time as well. And if you're not a yearly subscriber, or if you can afford it, just installing Portmaster on those people's devices, by default, don't change anything, don't enable any other filter lists. This can break stuff, but the default Portmaster will increase privacy.
It goes a long way.
And it goes already a long way. It does increase privacy, and it will not create a hassle for you. If you leave the DNS to Cloudflare, no matter what your thoughts are, for less tech support, just installing it by default, it's meant to be easy, and it's meant to be low maintenance. Yeah. So just install it. And if you are a subscriber, and if you enjoy the SPN, it's a great time to do the yearly subscription. We know this is an upfront cost, but for us, for a 1 month subscriber, gifting away another month, it did not make sense. So this is how we sort of like said, okay, it needs to be yearly, but it does not need to be a new subscription. So if you just subscribed like last month, you are eligible for this. It does not need to be a new subscription. Anyone, and if your subscription ends in November, you will still get it as long as it's valid on the day when I send out the emails. So I will check, and it says so in the blog post, in the week before, and if you have a valid subscription during that time, you will get a gift card code, even if it's running out in end of November or October or something. So you will get those codes anyway. If your subscription already ended, sorry, but if not, a lot of people, I feel like, will get the gift card codes. Make sure your email address is up to date. That's also important, because if the email does not work, there is no, like, the gift card codes will run out at the end of November, so you cannot like find them 3 weeks later and activate them. You need to activate them in this 2-week period. Sweet. BF, Black Friday was his question. Mike asked for Black Friday. Okay, great.
So there were no questions. So
no other questions. Yeah.
A shorter one today.
It's 45 minutes. It's not too short either.
That's true. It's not short.
Thank you for everyone who joined us. We hope that what we do brings you joy, brings you security and safety, and to your family. Especially now when online shopping starts again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for helping us do what we love doing. And if you have any further questions, just write us on Discord, write in the comments below, send us an email, get in touch via Mastodon. Those are our Mastodon handles. See you around.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you next time.